How's it going, everyone, and welcome to another episode of No Excuses on VTWProductions.com and YouTube.com with your favorite show hosts, are still.
Venurian.
And Volatile, and we're here to bring you the latest news and commentary on the video games industry for the week, such as it was, or at least we would if we could find any, but it wasn't really a terribly busy week in the industry. But anyway, if you'd like to get involved with the show, you can do so by sending us email at noexcusesvtw@gmail.com, or you can follow us on the Twitter at noexcusesvtw, or you can join us in the Discord server, which you can easily get to by clicking on the link that should be provided in the description underneath the show archive.
Yes.
Or alternatively, you can click on the show logo on any of our show posts at vtwproductions.com, which will take you directly to the Discord server.
Yep. All right. So on the stream today, I am playing not what I originally wanted to play, and we'll come to that in a moment. I'm actually playing a bit of Minecraft Dungeons, which I tried because it was free. Right. So we'll just tangent straight into my week because that's largely what my week has been. It's been a lot of work. Yeah, one of our drivers ended up with this nasty head cold. She's still actually suffering from it to a point. But that meant she went into quarantine. So, yay. I think she's officially out of it now, but yeah, still sick. So that was fun. 12-hour days.
So it's like, basically, is it just until you get until you get a test back?
Yeah, which takes a couple of days.
Right.
But I did manage to do some gaming. We'll start with Minecraft because it's disappointing, honestly. It's not even... I had pretty low expectations for it, honestly. I expected an ARPG with a Minecraft skin with a few Minecrafty mechanics in there. It's not even that. There's... Basically, you have no character classes. Everyone is just Minecraft as your character. And your skills are determined by your item pickups. But there's no crafting in Minecraft. I mean, the game looks nice.
Precisely is the point.
You run around and you hit things with a sword. Or occasionally you hit things with a bow. And if you're really lucky, you'll pick up a TNT, which you just use to kill enemies. I mean, it's very, very basic. It's not... I wouldn't even call it baby's first ARPG, because those also exist. That's Torchlight, basically. It's just way too bare bones to be really worth the time. It does have a slight self-awareness, at least. It's carrying on about the Orb of Domination being the big MacGuffin that's dictated the story. Naturally, this orb is a cube. But, honestly, it's Minecraft with no crafting and no mining. Like, even a simple mechanic would have been just to have, if you're lucky enough to find a TNT and throw it in the right place, you could unlock a secret area. But they didn't do that. You could pick up materials to make improved gear or make specific bits of gear. But they didn't do that. All you do is, beat up enemies. Enemies don't drop gear. You have to find chests.
Okay.
And that's how you get better gear. If you...
This doesn't sound like it's Minecraft in any way.
No, it doesn't. And that's the problem. I mean, had they put in a rudimentary crafting mechanic or a little bit of destructible terrain so you could find secret areas, it would have been a lot more Minecrafty. Basically, this is just very, very basic ARPG with a Minecraft skin. So, I mean, if you're a Minecraft super fan, don't play it. Because actually there's mods out there that probably do this a lot better in Minecraft itself. If you like ARPGs, don't bother.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically going to be it. My opinion is, don't bother. Like, even that, like, what you just saw there is a potion. You can't carry potions. You can carry one health potion, which is on a cooldown, but you never run out of them. But every other potion is instantly effective. So if you've just cleared a room of enemies and... you get your buff potions. More often than not, you actually get Shadow Brews, which don't seem to actually do anything. Then yeah, you've just wasted a potion. So, yay.
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 Yay. So the whole point
None of this
is...
sounds like Minecraft.
No, it doesn't, and that's the point. It's really not. They didn't even, aside from appearance, they just didn't really do anything.
So what you're
Minecraft.
saying is it's a cheap cash-in.
Yes. It
Like,
didn't have to be.
Oh, it's a thing. Minecraft is a thing. People will buy things that look like Minecraft, right?
Yes, because Roblox
So-
apparently is a thing.
They painted a turd gold and are trying to sell it to you for the price of silver.
Turd is useful in the right circumstances. So, yeah, this game, it didn't need to be bad. It didn't need to be quite so bland. They could have kept it simple, which is fine, because Minecraft is simplicity.
No, it had to be bad. It's attached to the Minecraft brand nowadays, and the Minecraft brand these days is cancer.
Its fan base has always been cancer, really. I don't tend to demonize a game just because of its fan base. I'll demonize a game because it's bad. And this one is bad. It's just boring. Very, very boring. It doesn't even look to be all that long, really.
Disappointing.
And of course, you get advertised to when you go to the main menu, because there's a whole section of the map there which just says coming soon in DLC.
Enchantment?
Enchantment is the leveling system. That's how when you level up, you get 1 enchantment point, which basically lets you unlock an ability of a weapon. And that's it. Each weapon will have 3 randomly picked enchantments. And I'll actually show you that, because I should probably upgrade my SWAD. Which I can't actually afford to upgrade. So, yeah, it's random as to what upgrades you can get. You can't upgrade your artifacts, which are these things down here. Basically active use items. I mean, that one summons dog, that one makes me go fast, that one makes exploding bomb arrow. That's it. I found 3, and they're all very, very standard. What about my... Yeah, I can't upgrade that either. Apparently there is a dodge roll. There it is. I keep forgetting that's a thing, because it's never actually been useful. I can just move to the left or the right if I have to dodge.
Yeah, I've played a few games like that over the course of time where it looks a lot like they put dodge roll in because they felt they needed to have dodge roll in there, not because it was actually involved in the combat at all.
Yeah. Something was just screwing with my UI there. Oh, that's an Enderman. Hello, Enderman. You're new. Yeah, when you start out the game, basically it's zombies and illagers. Because, you know, Minecraft, illagers, evil villagers. Yay. They're a lot more interesting
I'm
in
not
Minecraft
down
itself.
with the Minecraft lore, I'm afraid.
Yeah, well, there isn't any, really. The Minecraft lore extends to that big diatribe that Notch put at the end after you kill the Ender Dragon, and he basically wrote that whole rambling nonsense to see if anyone would actually read it. Turns out, yes, some people do. That's the extent of the Minecraft lore. It's a cruel joke. Right. So yeah, I'm gonna say don't. Just don't. This is new. Whoops. No, don't salvage that. What do we got? More emeralds. Well, emeralds are useless anyway. Chance to stun, or occasionally fart on enemies. We'll go with the stun. So yeah, they've added a new few weapon classes which aren't in Minecraft itself, but mods add them. You can go do that. So yeah, that's going to be a recommendation. Go mod Minecraft. It's better. It's certainly a lot more interesting.
It seems to apply to a lot of games these days, though. Like, well, you could play the game as made, or you could mod this other game to be that game.
Yeah, or in a few of the games that, like Kenshi is, you could play Kenshi as intended, or you could get some mods so the game actually works.
Well, I mean, Kenshi's going to be masochism regardless, so...
Oh yeah, it is. But there's a difference between unfair masochism and completely unfair masochism, really. So yeah, that's Minecraft Dungeons. I'm going to keep playing it because the other game I played this week was Phantasy Star Online, and I ran into one of the notorious bugs that everyone's whinging about.
I sincerely hope I do not.
You might. So, if you go to the Microsoft Store and actually download the game, you will notice there's a lot of 1-star reviews. If you read the 1-star reviews a couple of days ago, these were 1-star reviews where people disappointed because they couldn't play during the preload. Because they're not all that bright, apparently. But
Well, to be fair, to be totally unnecessarily charitable to those people, they were kind of unclear about their release messaging.
oh yeah,
Like the marketing didn't really make it clear that, oh, well, actually we're releasing it early on Xbox and eventually you PC peasants will be able to play.
yeah, 8 years late. So yeah, the game after you restart your computer will occasionally, more often than not, by the sounds of it, wig out and break the install. If you try to fix it and then just restart your computer during that process, because the Microsoft Store is being the Microsoft Store, it just says the game's uninstalled. It's gone. So I've got to reinstall the game, which I only just found out half an hour before the show. Which ain't gonna happen.
Because it take a very long time to
It's
download.
because their download server is borked something horrible. A lot of people have been waiting to play this game. A lot. And I think a lot of people are really just playing it because after 8 years of being told no, we can finally play it.
I don't know, they seem to be enjoying themselves at that concert that I went to. There were a couple of guys who are basically role-playing out a scenario where one of the characters involved in the conversation was a simp for the idol that was on the stage.
I'm not sure if that was role-playing or not.
And the other player was the other players involved in the conversation were trying to convince him that simping was a bad idea.
There's always one. So yeah, I'm disappointed. I wanted to actually put that on the stream today, but no, apparently not, because Microsoft Store is garbage. It's hot garbage, and it always has been. All right. Do we have something positive I can talk about? I mean, we'll talk about Phantasy Star a little bit more in a moment. No, that's about it for my week. I've actually had no real time to invest in anything. I wanted to do some stuff,
But work said no.
Work said no.
You've been oddly silent this week relative to how you normally are.
I mean, well, I'm normally very quiet as it is. But
Yeah, we can usually at least get you to respond, kinda, sorta.
Yeah.
But this week I've barely heard from you and it's been several days later.
Yeah. I mean, look, a TNT to... Yay. I mean, it's a good way to clear a room, the TNT, but why not use it to find secret areas? That would have been a great
Because
opportunity.
that would involve having something that was in any way like Minecraft.
Yeah.
Which I gather is forbidden.
Apparently it is forbidden. So I'm going to call my week there, and then I'll probably butt in a lot with Vol's week. So, Vol, go for it.
Okay, I just set myself on fire. Fabulous.
Don't do that.
Not like when Ari did it on the show. I'm talking about in a game.
Good.
The first thing, well, let's see. Okay, so I'll get all mobile stuff out of the way. Still farming on Azure Lane. The farming drop rates hate me, like even more than the gacha does. In fact, the gacha has been kind of nice to me. I've gotten everything that I wanted from the gacha for this event. On the other hand, drops not so much. I haven't gotten any of the what people call the baguette gun, because it's a French destroyer single barrel gun, but it's also statistically the rarest version of it is basically the best destroyer gun in the game on average.
But it's French and therefore too good for you.
Yeah, so I haven't gotten any to drop, like at all, ever. Which is very, very, very frustrating.
Yeah. I did spin the FGO gacha during the week. That was a mistake.
Yeah, you got some pretty legendary bad pulls there.
Now is capped off by Hector, and all of the terrible 4-star CEs. So yeah, the gacha is still functioning as intended by the look of it.
Yep. So that event's carrying on. It should be coming to a close soon. I got the little child version of the aircraft carrier Illustrious as well, which was another short event that was added. They do a lot of events in Azure Lane, and they give out a lot of welfare characters. So it's just in every respect more generous than FGO. In FGO, the murder at the whatever, I can't remember what it's called. Kagetsu-kan? I can't remember. The murder mystery series finished.
Swaggle and Sherlock.
I am very bad at mystery stories, and I was having a great deal of difficulty working out who the culprit was I went online to look for some hints, and I found some hints, and it turned out that I had actually been thinking about all of the right stuff, but I had gotten distracted by one red herring, which was something that the character being portrayed by Marie Antoinette had said, which it turns out in the final revelation of everything that happened is that she gave an incorrect account simply because she forgot the details. And that was all there was to it. But I was inordinately distracted by that.
Did she at least tell you up front that she'd forgotten the details when she was giving that account?
No, she didn't mention something. She didn't mention something that had happened because of her having forgotten. But in the end, I was able to put together the other clues and work out what had happened. I think it was a very simple and short event, but it was one that I enjoyed very much, and I'd be quite happy to see more events like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was an interesting thing to have done.
So since I've missed the event now, I didn't finish it. Was my guess right?
It would not be right to say you are right, but it would also not be right to say that you are wrong.
So
wow. Okay. Oh, hey,
I guess
there's a lot more subtlety to it than just that guess.
Yeah, just from what was given in the first 2 or 3 things, there was only a few people it reasonably could have been that would have sent that letter from the characters presented, and the only one I could think that would realistically have a hidden motive would have been the other purple hair.
Well, there actually over the course of the story they reveal motives for multiple different characters.
Yeah,
like they by the time the story comes to a close, the only person who it couldn't have conceivably been is the player character, who coincidentally still got quite a number of votes as the culprit in the voting event at the end.
I mean, Gudiko.
It is true, but yeah, is the event closed now? Can you not finish the story now?
I do not know. I'd have to get my iPad, and it's in another room. So
at any rate, I enjoyed it. I thought it was an interesting, a time where they had actually made the most of the fact that ultimately FGO is a visual novel with a bit of mechanics tacked on rather than a full-fledged game in a lot of ways. So yeah, that was fun. Hunting quests are on at the moment, but I just don't have the spirit required to farm hunting quests right now. I don't really have any servants to raise. There's a banner at the moment which has Lancer Kirihime on it, which is a tempting opportunity to waste a whole pile of quartz, but I ought not to because Skadi is coming up. Not that I really need her, but I sort of feel like I need her sort of thing. I don't know. That's the problem with really meta-defining the servants, is that you're never really sure if it's going to be too much of a regret if you don't get them. I don't want Skadi enough to wail for her though. So because I didn't spend ages getting prepared with NP level 2 plus Edmund Dantes or anything like that. So I don't really care that much.
Mine's NP3 with Grails.
Yeah, that's because you like the artist. It's not really.
Yeah, it was
No.
totally by accident. That it
No,
just
no.
happens to be good later.
Yeah, but so that's that. After the show last week, we decided to take a crack at Synthetic. Now, Synthetic's only a 2-player game, so I couldn't play at the same time as Ari and Fern.
Mhm.
But Fern logged off probably because he got attacked by dogs.
Yes.
It seems to happen a lot. And then I played some with Ari, and I was very, very bad at it, which is more or less what I expected. I was extraordinarily bad at it, but it took us quite some time to make it all the way to the first boss. I say all the way. It's not actually very far. We were just not terribly great at it, and I kept killing Ari. Well, not actually killing him so much as reducing him to the point where he would get one shot by enemies because he had a tendency to use a short-range weapon by swerving directly in my line of fire.
Oh, you too. Yeah, he does that a lot.
Yeah. It was very fun, and I enjoyed trying to find ways to apply the ridiculous weapons that I would get handed. I don't think I ever got a weapon that in any way played to my character's strengths at any point. It just never happened.
I got a second close range weapon once with Fern.
Yeah.
And what I have learned in this experience is just don't play any of the characters that specialize in close range combat with your friends.
Yeah, don't.
Because you're just going to get shot. And there's really no way to get out of their way so they can also shoot when you're that close.
Mhm.
So, because you have to move like as soon as you're done shooting, or you're going to get shot.
Yep.
And so the chance of you wandering into your friend's bullet is about 1 in 4 every time you engage an enemy if they're engaged in the same one.
That's
Maybe-
generous.
Yes. Also, if you're playing the engineer, which I happen to like, there's a good chance that your other players are just going to shoot your robots.
Yeah,
please don't
I
do that.
destroyed several times.
Yeah, Seth Zentak, the suitcase turret.
Yeah, Seth is available as a starting item, so I brought Seth with me, and you both killed him every time I dropped him on the ground. I would even say, "Go get him, Seth!" every single time I dropped him, so you'd know he was
shoot him.
out, and he'd still die.
That wasn't the only thing that you said every time it happened, though.
Yeah.
In fact, you seemed very keen on announcing every time you had hit the reload button.
Oh, that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So not every time I hit the reload button, but with the shotgun, you have a very low magazine size, obviously. So you reload a lot. And what this would often mean is you get too panicky and smash the spacebar a little too fast, and full mag ejected.
Yeah, this game is possible to screw up reloading.
If you screw up reloading, I haven't really worked out for sure what happens, but it seems like it increases your chance of a jam.
I think it does, and you also waste the ammo.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
I
on
think that as well.
that's on full mag eject.
Yeah, you just
But-
you just threw away a whole mag of ammo. Well done.
If you screw the timing up on the reload, it seems that immediately after you do it, you're likely to get a jam.
Yeah.
Or more likely to get a jam. It
And a
seems to jam
jam-
right away.
A jam is a nightmare.
Yeah.
it is truly the stuff of nightmares because it always seems to know when it would be the most appropriate time for it to happen, or
Oh, yeah.
inappropriate, as the case may be.
So this scenario happens all the time. You finish a firefight, you reload your gun because it has like one or no clips or bullets left in the magazine, and you stuff a new one in there, and you think you reloaded it right, and you get to the next patch of enemies, and you go up and you try to shoot, and you hear tick,
Clunk.
and it says jam down at the bottom of your screen. So now you're frantically mashing the reload button to unjam your gun so it'll start firing again.
Yeah.
Peggle.
Peggle.
Yeah.
It is a lot of fun, the
Yeah,
synthetic.
Yeah, I think it's a very entertaining game. I think it deserves attention. It's
Yeah.
very. I just found it a very easy game to pick up and fail miserably at for a while.
Yeah, I think
And I didn't resent it either because it's so so obviously calibrated to be, you know, played over and over and over and over, even when you're really bad. But yeah, it is like with all those things that have been laughingly designated as roguelikes, it does have the usual, you know, bugbears, and that occasionally it will cough up something that's completely unreasonable.
Like the quest that got us killed instantly.
Yeah.
Not instantly. We killed like 2 of the dudes, but we had no supplies left, and we still had like 3 or 4 of them to get to, and now they were roaming. And we ran into the quest mobs, and they just shot us.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, it was just they just released a whole bunch of really, really nasty elites on top of us, and they're like, "Oh, you'll be fine, right?"
No.
Also, team killing's a thing.
Yes, yes, it is.
We found. So, Fern, I figured out what happened when we both just mysteriously died that one time.
Yeah, that was fun. I thought we were upgrading our weapons, but no, we just exploded and died.
I had upgraded my satchel charge at the last upgrade station 3 or 4 times, and just dumped all my credits into it just to see what would happen. And I had right-clicked.
Oh dear.
And I blew us both up.
The satchel charge is famously a team-killing weapon, though, isn't it?
So, yeah, I thought Seth only said the engineer has a dedicated way of killing your teammates.
He lied.
That's not true if you upgrade the satchel charge. I can't even remember the name of the thing I was playing. What class was I playing? Fern was playing the engineer. Vol, what were you playing?
I was playing the demolition guy.
Yeah, I was playing, like, not the dog tag, the green dude, but the blue shotgun one without the shield.
Couldn't tell you.
I will interject it in the next little bit once I go to the community hub and look up the guides for the game so I can remember what the heck that the stuff is called.
I didn't look up any guides with anything. It was just, it's just a supremely. I want to say like it's an easy game to pick up and play, but it's not an easy game. It's a game that will completely sodomize you if you pick up and play it. But that's still half the fun.
That's kind of the point, really.
Yep. So yeah, I'm looking forward to spending some more time playing that. But yeah, just a matter of finding an opportunity, which has been pretty much the grand trial of this week, because you know work has been brutal. I took a half day off on Thursday to go to see the optometrist and figure out what the heck is wrong with my eyes. It turns out that from current appearances, I am in fact now long-sighted in my left eye.
Too far, go back.
Yeah.
Those are harder to correct, aren't they?
It requires different techniques to correct it.
Yeah, when I got it, that was way harder.
Yeah.
Yeah. Breacher is what I was playing, by the way.
There you go.
Oh, that was the class.
But yeah, so I'm going to have another surgery probably, but I've got to give it a couple months to make sure that it's like actually long-sighted and not like some distortion caused by the healing process or something like that. So
yeah, that's going to be bad for you in the microscopes.
Yeah, it's been quite a nuisance, but my right eye is better than 2020 now, so it's sort of picking up the slack.
You should just get an eye patch and become a pirate.
Yeah, I don't want to be a pirate. Yar. Because you can't resist saying yar.
You gotta say yar.
But yeah, so that was that. Synthetic, great game, good fun to play. If I was any good at it, I would probably spend more time playing it, but I'm not any good at it, so I will play it exclusively with other people who will make the suffering not suffering. But
at least less suffering.
It's a game that I think we can put on our easily streamable list, and it's a good time killer game. It'll probably go on my personal time killer list of games when I just need to do something with my hands.
Yeah, when you boot it up, immediately hijinks ensue. It's basically how it goes.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next thing was I noticed sometime during the week that the PC release is finally happening for Phantasy Star online too. And I told Fern about it, and Fern's mind was already made up that there was no way that he was going to let them forbid him from playing it any longer.
Yeah, 8 years being told no. So this could be an interesting marketing strategy. You just say no to people long enough, and eventually they'll just dive in, no matter how bad things are.
Yep, it's
Admittedly, that
certainly
it's sort of worked for Duke Nukem Forever. You know, until it worked
Yeah, I
out that it
guess-
was hot garbage.
I guess that pretty much is what it was trading on, ultimately. Is the fact that people had been waiting for it so long without getting it.
Yeah.
But so since Fern was installing it, and like I said, I took a half day off, so I had an afternoon free, and I spent that entire afternoon downloading it because apparently that's how you do in Phantasy Star Online.
Yeah, their installer is kind of jank.
While I
Yeah, also horribly.
yeah,
overloaded.
the installer is kind of jank. Like you get in there, and you think you're downloading it. You're not downloading it.
No, you're not.
You're not. You're very not. You're actually just downloading the things required in order to download it, because
Yes.
the game will then proceed to at very great length. I just failed a quest. I don't know how. The installer will at very great length tick backwards in time remaining to the point of it's basically as a parabola, right? So like for the first hour and a half, the amount of time remaining will gradually increase, and then it will level off, and then eventually it will decrease.
Yeah,
That seems to be how it goes.
that's if it ever
So, yeah.
figures it out.
The servers seem to be under quite a heavy load.
Mhm.
Is that a dragon? Why is there a dragon in here?
Reasons? Is that in the lava
Um,
caves?
Yeah, I am in the lava cave, so I haven't reached the final stage yet.
Oh, yeah, there's supposed to be a dragon at the end of it. I didn't know there was supposed to be dragons elsewhere.
No. It's not at the end of it. I guess he
dear.
just decided that he was sick of waiting for me. But yeah. So I spent that most of that time watching Fern basically be as ridiculous as humanly possible. That seems to be what he was after.
Yeah, I decided I was going to play as summoner, and because pet class is always fun, I find. But I figured, okay, how silly can we make this? Oh look, one of the races is essentially a Gundam. So yeah, for a few hours I was running around as a Gundam wearing an enormous hat and hipster glasses, waving a baton, telling a magical dog what to do.
Yes, and you looked completely absurd.
It was the most ridiculous thing going, and I kind of want to do it again. It's not the sort of thing I want to do for a long term, though. So I actually made a proper character that's a very dapper gentleman waving a baton.
Yeah, so at least you sort of look the part now.
Sort
In
of.
fact, I have a clone of that very Fern fighting next to me right now, although he's level 4 and useless.
Yeah, I haven't played much, so my character still needs updating. So that's actually a really cool mechanic, is you can make basically an imprint of your character and let your people on your friends list bring it along as an NPC.
Do I have to do that purposefully? Because I don't
Yes.
know how if you do.
I can... we'll go back through that later on. Because, yeah, you
'Cause
haven't done that yet.
That's another very pointed thing about this game, is it doesn't explain anything particularly well.
Especially if you're a summoner. If you're going to be a summoner, I'm going to give you a bit of advice. Don't. So, the summoner class itself, like every other class, seems reasonably straightforward. You get your skills, you stick them on your hotbar, you got your combos, everything like that. But the summoner, you have the whole pet system, which involves collecting eggs, hatching eggs, upgrading your pets with eggs, then the entire candy system that's going on with it. Which is kind of like
the
playing
candy system.
Tetris with your buffs. I don't even know if candy actually drops to people who can't use pets. Does it?
Well, I've never got any.
So I'm assuming no. It looks like other classes can get a pet along by putting Summoner as a subclass, but I have no idea how that system's working yet. Yeah, there's a lot of not telling you things in this game.
Yeah,
But,
I categorically don't understand what's going on a non-negligible amount of the time.
yeah, that's okay. The little bit I was actually able to play this morning, I did discover one of the class mechanics for the summoner. So instead of standing back like a twit, waving my wand and letting my pet do all the work, there's a call and return system which you actually have to unlock. Which you do about level 10-ish, I suppose. And what that does is, while your pet is jumping up and down on the enemy's head, in the case of the dog, that's actually literally what they're doing, it will throw up a call for either a buff or a heal. So you give it said buff or heal, in which case it generates even more buffs for itself. Don't jump straight into this system. My best recommendation is get your point to get this system unlocked, and then there's one, I believe it was along the end of the 4th line. And what that does is basically lets you buff and heal your pet no matter where it is on the field. Because summoner gets stupid range. But your heals and your buffs don't. They're all basically surrounding you. So you need that in order to actually do anything properly. It does make the class a lot more interesting to play.
Yes, I was not really sure what was going on watching you play because I saw you flailing about and your stream quality wasn't very good. So oftentimes I couldn't actually see your pet. It was
Yeah.
off in the distance doing all your dirty work.
It was kind of this little pink dot way off in the distance. Honestly, half the time, even on a full screen without the terrible stream lag, because Discord didn't want to play the game that day, I still couldn't really see what my pet was doing. Because it was so far away. So how about these other classes? Aside from the excessively complicated summoner.
Right. Well, I mean, the only one that I've played was the one that I rolled up, which was Braver, something like that.
Something like that.
Which is I'm playing it mainly focused on using the bow because it seemed like fun. It's you're supposed to switch to using a katana in close range, but it's I don't know which of its abilities are generic to other classes and which ones are specific to it, but it seems to be very heavily focused on timing. So every time you swing, it creates a red circle, which is it creates a circle which will turn red, and that's your prompt to do your next thing. So you basically want to keep that pace and time all your attacks and stuff with that circle such that you get a boost from doing it. So there's a lot of charging type things associated with the bow, and with the katana there's also a whole counter mechanic, and there's a gauge that you charge up that I had in the tutorial but I don't have now, so obviously it's something you unlock that I don't have yet, but you can charge this gauge thing up, and then you can trigger a powerful buff on yourself by using a counter attack at the time that you get hit, type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there's a lot of little mechanics in there, but what impressed me the most about the feel of the thing was that, number one, it's the closest thing that we've got to Terra now, pretty much, because you get to run around and fight giant monsters.
Yes.
And number two, I've noticed a surprisingly little amount of latency. Like, I don't know how they do the calculation, but it has been really, really smooth latency-wise. Now, I'm not going to say that for the lobby. The lobby is currently an apocalypse of stutteriness, and they said they're investigating the reason why.
Yeah, it's where frame rates go to die at the moment.
Yeah, but the actual combat part of things has been butter smooth compared to what I expected. Like, it's better than Terra.
Yeah.
Better than Terra was. It's really, really smooth, and really, really been impressed with how it performs. I don't know exactly how they're doing that. Like, I don't know what calculation is causing that to function like that. But I'll take what I can get. I'm having fun with it because of that. It plays very naturally. There's still a little bit of latency in there, and the hitboxes can be a little bit wonky at times. But generally speaking, it's just been performing really well. So yeah. Been impressed with that. It's just been very fun in general to play. Like, the portion of the game that I actually comprehend is very, very small. I don't really understand anything that is going on. Yeah, but to the extent that I do understand it, I've been having a very good time with it. It's very easy to. There's lots and lots of different things to muck around with, different ways that you can deploy on missions, and you can easily just drop into an expedition and just run around shooting things or slashing things or whatever. So it's a very good fiddle around MMO. Like I like FF14 best, of course, but
Yeah.
this is also quite a good game to muck around, and if the feel of the combat is what you're after. Like, it's not quite the high resolution world that that Final Fantasy XIV provides, but as far as a mechanic that lets you drop into a level and run around pew-pewing for a while, it's really, really good on that count. I've really enjoyed the amount of time that I've spent with it.
Yeah.
As small as it's been.
I'll gladly sink more time in it. It has been a lot of fun. There's a lot in there to really get your teeth in and to discover. It's just kind of very front heavy with what it tells you. Like, it's okay.
You mean it's really front heavy with what it doesn't tell you?
Well, yeah, there's that. Most of it is, okay, here's a tutorial. Now another one. Now another one. And on, and on, and on. Okay, you done? Good. Go away.
Yeah, I found out by accident there's some sort of weird weapon building system in there.
Okay.
Where you, like, do objectives and it accrues bits towards constructing a fancy weapon or something. Or at least I think that's what it says.
I think I'm doing that at the moment, trying to get a specific egg. But
yeah,
I'm not sure. Like, it's saying I'm supposed to be accumulating cookies because everything about pets is candy for some reason.
Yeah, I've just got these percentage gauges that are gradually filling as I accomplish objectives, and that will proceed towards component weapons, which then presumably will be involved in constructing a formal completed version of the weapon. I managed to get one of them weapons as a rare drop, so that crossed that one off. I'm not actually sure how to accomplish some of the other objectives yet, though.
Yeah, supposedly those gauges were picking up resources, but I've never actually seen the resources drop. So, yeah, I'm not sure what's going on there.
Yeah, for me, for some of the gauges, it just fills up by killing things.
Yep.
But, yeah, not all of them are. Oh, it's the dragon again.
Oh, he's still bored?
Yeah, that dragon. No, I pew-pewed down eventually the one that accosted me while I was trying to do other things, but then as I advanced, I must have gone through the final gate. So now he's bothering me again. But yeah, so I overall it's been quite a good experience for me. I think it helps to a certain extent that I was primed by the anime, so I had a feel for Phantasy Star as being a world of sorts.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's sort of helped me get into it a little bit. But yeah, overall, my impression of it is that if it had come out in the West, like when it was quote unquote supposed to, I think it would have been extraordinarily successful. Yeah. And it's more fool them that they delayed the localization this long.
At that point, they would have been competing with the back end of Cataclysm, the crap end of Cataclysm. Was Final Fantasy XIV up and running at that point? I can't remember.
Ultimately, I think it hardly matters because the game is so much more action-centric.
Yeah. It's very fast-paced.
You can target things, but like as an archer, when I'm using the bow as opposed to the katana, I never target things. I use crosshairs all the time. And the crosshair functions properly as a real-time crosshair. It's not like one of those soft targeting systems like you get in things like I think the Secret World reboot worked like that.
Yeah, it did.
It has a sort of a soft targeting system where you are but you aren't targeting things directly using the tab targeting style of doing things.
Yes, it's giving you the illusion of targeting, but that's it.
But this one seems to behave like as a legit targeting system. Like it is very much the case that I target specific weak spots on monsters to break parts of the monster, like legs to make a thing fall over, or the tail to expose a weak spot, or things like that. So it very and like there's even for regular enemies, not just bosses, that applies. Like there's a particular monster in the caverns that you can break off its horns and it will become more docile and easier to fight.
Yep.
But yeah, it's just got there's a lot to it that I'm very very much enjoying playing. So
Yeah.
I wish that it had come out, 4 years ago or however long it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
I don't remember, when did it come out. I don't
8
remember.
years
But
ago.
yeah,
Yeah.
long time ago.
Another
but yeah,
warning
I
about the
wish it-
summoner, I suppose, actually, on that front with the targeting is you can try to target, but sometimes a pet will just decide he's going to go and just sit on the weak point instead. Which
Yeah, he knows better.
sometimes it's fine, but sometimes you want to topple the monster. So your friends can have a whack at it. But no, the pet will just sit on its head and bounce up and down. And, oh, well.
Yeah, pets not necessarily cooperative.
It is, as far as pet classes go, this is a very direct control. Like, you're standing back at the back of the battlefield, directing your pet in combat. As
Literally
opposed-
with a baton.
With a baton,
You're
literally.
conducting the pet.
Yes. That was actually an unintended choice of
you-
words. But,
So you're beat from Devil May Cry 5.
yeah, kind of. You are equally squishy. So if you actually end up with an enemy chewing on your face, you're probably going to fall over pretty quick. But you have such stupid range, it doesn't matter. But most other pet classes in a game, you like set your pet to attack something and just kind of forget about it. That's how it usually works in an MMO. So it's a nice change. It's something a bit different. I'd like to see where the story goes. Well, actually, no, that's not quite true. I could go find out where the story goes, but that means watching the anime or playing the game. Don't watch the anime.
You
It's awful. Both of them.
You don't need to watch the anime. It'll be fine. But it's not. It could be worse. The anime could be worse.
It could be worse.
That's about the nicest thing that I can say about it. Is that
It could be
it could-
worse.
there is a world in which it is significantly worse than what it actually is in practice.
That's not
Are
a
you
world I
sure
want to
about that, though?
Nope.
Are you really sure?
Nope.
visit.
Not
Like,
sure
when you
at
were-
all.
When you were watching that thing, you didn't seem like you were having a good time.
It sounded
Well,
painful.
the way I described it to Fern is that it has the single steepest gradient in quality
Mhm.
of any anime that I've ever seen. Like it wins the most improved award by like an order of magnitude, but that doesn't make it good because its lows are so low. Like, it starts off so bad that it never really gets to be good, but it improves drastically over the course of the season.
Yeah, but it sounds like it couldn't go any other direction.
Well, yeah, there was literally the only way that it could have gotten worse is if it had become more like the previous one, the previous PSO2 anime, which was legendarily awful.
It did have a dancing robot at the end.
It did have a dancing robot.
That
at
was
end,
the
but
only
dancing
good thing
robot-
about that anime.
Just a dancing robot is not sufficient. Not sufficient to save it. I'm sorry.
No.
It just isn't.
Uh,
But yeah. So my opinion of PSO2, from what I have played of it, is very easy. It's very easy to play, virtually impossible to actually understand, and generally speaking, has been a good time.
yeah. I wish I could play it at the moment.
But unfortunately, it's decided to uninstall itself from your computer.
I will throw out one more warning, and this is something that I wish I'd actually known before going in because it would have been less brain tearing. As you enter the story, you encounter a character who doesn't know how to pants very well.
Oh,
I can't actually remember his name. Aelin or something like that.
Oh, yeah, Arfin.
Arfin, there we go. I will warn you, his accent is, it's unique. It's
You
like,
tell a lie, every Australian sounds exactly like that.
no, we don't. Lie. It's like an Australian accent that's done by a Japanese developer who's only watched terrible Australian actors on American movies.
Is it like a Japanese guy trying to do the accent of the crocodile hunter?
No, thankfully it's not quite that bad.
No, I think it's like a Japanese person who knows how to do an English accent, who is then trying to bend that into an Australian accent.
And failing. Ain't working.
Yeah. This is going to be one of those, a bad Southern accent because you live in the South things,
Yeah.
ain't it?
Also,
From my perspective.
Like, it's going to sound exactly like every Australian ever to you.
yeah.
Like you won't
Also,
even be able to tell.
Yeah. Also, his
I can't
choice of
tell
language
if it's an Elvis
sometimes is
accent.
kind of all over the place. Like hecking. He says hecking
Hecking.
one moment and then shit the next. So,
And
I don't know.
wanker. He says wanker
He says
as
wanker.
well.
And that's only in the tutorial mission. So I don't know what this character is, but he's kind of entertaining to watch for how bad he is.
He's a dweeb.
He is a dweeb, but he's an amusing dweeb. It's like watching a car crash. I'm at least hoping someone competent turns up soon.
Don't count on it.
Yeah. Like
I mean, it could happen. Stranger things have happened, but
You got that guy in the red armor who seems to know what he's doing, but he also seems to be kind of not particularly bright.
no, he's not. He's not particularly bright.
So yeah, it's a good time, and I'm definitely looking forward to playing more of it when my computer lets me. There is a couple of entertaining stories. Like I think we did mention people failing at knowing what a preload is. But yeah, as far as the installation error goes, Microsoft has no idea. So we just gotta wait for them to figure it out. Because their store is awful. But it's like it's free on the Microsoft Store, and $5 to get in for the Game Pass. So you get PSO online too, and you get access to their full library. So for $5, that's not bad.
You get Phantasy Star online?
Yes, it is also online. I mean, I've got more nostalgia for this franchise than I probably should. I played 4 as a kid, and that was probably the first game that actually made me cry as a kid.
It made you cry.
Yeah. It had a really good death scene in it, right near the start.
I see.
And yeah, the whole thing was just really well done. That said, though, this is the game where you also ultimately start in a medieval village and end up fighting robot Nazis on the moon. So, yeah.
That sounds awesome.
It is actually really cool. Some of their enemy design is really strange, though, but yeah, you end up with a couple of mecha in your party, you driving around this medieval countryside in a freaking tank at one point, an airship later, which becomes a spaceship because you got to go to the moon.
What is with Nazis in the moon?
I don't know. They're not actual Nazis, but they're cultists, probably is better thing, because they cult of the Dark Force, which apparently was just some thing that turned up at the end of the first game with no explanation. So this whole game's kind of around that.
Well, the Phantasy Star lore seems to center around the idea that there's basically sort of a Gnostic a pair of opposing forces, where you've got basically the photons and you've got the darkness, and the darkness is personified in various things, amongst which are the Darkspawn that you fight, and you've got to sort of counteract it by direct effort to prevent the universe basically getting destroyed and going into heat death or something like that. That's all very vague. They never really explained it in the anime.
Yeah, the story for Phantasy Star 4 at least was very simple. Like, there's been a technological collapse at some point, so which is why you get outside this medieval village and there's, killer robots. But, yeah, there's the Dark Force, and it's making this bad guy be a bad guy who's basically a dark wizard stereotype. But then you kill him, but turns out he was trying to stop the Dark Force by being a bastard or something. I don't know. Okay, it gets Final Fantasy tier rambling in points.
It sounds very Gurren Lagann, actually.
Does a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, the second you name something called the Dark Force, though, I think you lose a whole lot of points.
Yeah, thankfully this it stops before you reach the point where you're throwing galaxies at each other. Gurren Lagann did not have that restraint.
You may think that that's a bad thing, but I don't agree.
I do not agree. It is actually quite a cool thing. But Gurren Lagann did it, so nobody else should do that because it's the sort of thing that's awesome once. Alright, we should probably take a break. By the way, if you're playing on the Microsoft Network and you're playing Phantasy Star, play Phantasy Star. You will get Minecraft Dungeons for free as part of it. Don't play it.
Yeah.
I can live without. I think.
You could get. There's actually quite a good selection of games in there at the moment. Outer Worlds is on there. Sunset Overdrive if you're feeling old, I guess.
Why would anybody play Sunset Overdrive?
Irony. That's about it. It's the only reason I can think of. The Age of Empires remakes are on there. It does a few weird things. If you can't see the game you want on there, don't use your VPN to get at the international menu. Go into your computer's region settings and change it in there. There is some logic in there somewhere. I've yet to find it.
Uh-huh.
It actually also works on release dates, apparently, as well. You just set your time zone to New Zealand and it'll let you download things early in some cases.
Well, Val's already there, so he doesn't have to set anything.
It doesn't have to... Yeah, changing it won't work for you.
What's not working for me?
Yeah. Changing your time zone to New Zealand in order to skip ahead on launch dates.
Oh, right. I'm astonished that that ever works. It seems like it still does.
Yeah, it does sometimes.
I guess that this is more of Americans, etc., forgetting that the rest of the world exists.
Yeah. And I guess they've set their launch to some automatic process instead of having someone there to physically press a button. Alright, yeah, so yeah, we should take a break, and I need to actually take a moment to stop playing this game. So, I'm going to put some music on, and we will be back in a few moments.
And we're back.
Yes, indeed.
Did you have?
With some very
We have
hurried
visual-
show editing in the meantime.
I will be posting the reference pictures in the live show chat if you want to see the visual gimmicks.
Yes.
So this also saves Fern a bit of time from playing Minecraft Dungeons. So
Yay!
there is that.
There is also that. It's
Does it feel when you have to be saved from your game?
such a bad.
It's like World of
game.
Warcraft all over again.
Yes.
Bad for you.
This is not godless bad.
Still bad for you.
Still bad. So, your thing, please, sir.
Did Val have anything else before I go? I forget where we were. Last week.
Nah.
All right.
I think I've talked enough.
So we'll do the big thing first with the visual gimmicks, and then I'll fill in with little stuff to time fill because there's no news. So,
Yay.
the day before yesterday was Shantae Day. New Shantae game came out. Yay!
Yay.
Shantae's a fun series that I've had a lot of love for the series for a while. They're not particularly difficult games, at all, but they're fun little Metroidvania type games where you turn into animals and you use those animal transformations to explore the world, or at least that's how you used to do it.
Are very charming and very, in a lot of cases, very silly.
Yeah, the old exception used to be Pirate's Curse, where Shantae had her genie magic lost, so she had to use pirate tools instead. But it was still a Shantae game. And it still felt very, yeah. And this game tries to emulate Pirate's Curse in the way its powers worked, but I think it does a not so good job at it.
Aw.
But before I go and start bashing on the game, because there's a lot of things relative to the other Shantae games that I really don't like about this one, I'll preface it by saying it's still worth your time to play if you like the Shantae series. It's still a good video game. They just have done a whole lot of wackadoodle things I really wish they didn't do.
Right.
So, first, let's talk about what they did with the mechanics. So, it used to be you would hold down the dance button and push a direction on the D-pad with the appropriate timing, and you would change into an animal, and that's how you transform. And you would stay in this animal form until you chose to untransform.
Mm-hmm.
And this animal would have a unique set of abilities, and you would unlock new abilities for it. And there would usually be anywhere from 4 in the first game, 8 in the later games, to I think Half Genie Hero had 16.
That's a lot of animals.
Yeah. At 12 or 16. In this game, you don't have that. The animal transformations instead act like the tools in Pirate's Curse, where you tap a button, you quickly transform into the animal to do the ability, and then you immediately turn back into Shantae after it's over.
Okay.
This takes a lot of the fun out of finding fun and quick ways to get around levels by, learning to use monkey form well, or learning how to use Harpy to skip some things, even though Harpy's a little slow. Learning what you can do with your mermaid transformation to go around and use the water better. None of that's here now, because as soon as you're done with the ability, you snap back into Shantae form. And we'll start with the first animal you get, and that's the newt.
Newt.
So I'll put
Wow,
this in
that sounds underwhelming.
This thing is the replacement for the monkey form. The monkey form used to be, you transform into monkey, you move about 50% faster, and you can wall climb. You can cling to walls and climb up them. And the cool thing about monkey form was you could do some really silly sequence breaky stuff with it, because you could jump up and diagonal from a wall in monkey form and still be a monkey and grab onto another ledge if you quickly reverse your momentum right above you. So even if there was a lip that was supposed to block you, you could sometimes get around it, and it was totally a thing that wasn't intended, but they programmed around it just in case, in all cases in all the games. I think they had to patch one game because they forgot about it and programmed a way around it rather than fix the monkey shortcut.
Okay.
Yeah. So the game, it's been a fairly staple transformation, and is usually the first one you get in all the games. In this game, it's replaced by a newt.
A newt.
And the newt does the same thing, but instead of being a monkey the whole time, being able to do cool shenanigans, the newt transformation, you hit R2 to do an air dash, or ground dash, I guess, if you're on the ground. You'll dash a fixed distance, and if you hit a wall, you'll cling to it and stay in newt form, but the second you leave a wall, you're not a newt anymore. And you cannot jump up and diagonal as a newt. So you cannot gain any altitude or do any fun sequence breaky stuff with it.
I'm still trying to get the idea of the newt air dash.
Yeah, so the newt can air dash. While you're air dashing, the newts are invincible, like with the monkey bullet before. But it's just tap R2 and you dash. It's now just a dash power up.
Yay.
And a wall climb. So, okay, I suppose. But this was not a good start. Because the monkey was a lot of fun to mess around with in the old games, and having it replaced by just a wall climb and a dash with no ability to jump up or gain any vertical movement at all with this thing was really disappointing. Next, we had the Coral Drill. The Coral Drill is dumb. Like, really dumb. It is just a key to a door. That's all it is.
What?
Like, there will be sandy patches around the level that you cannot go through normally until you get the Coral Drill, and after you get the Coral Drill, you can go through the sandy patches. That's all it does. While you're moving through these...
there whatsoever.
Yeah, no. It doesn't need to be there at all. Offers nothing to the gameplay at all. They try to make it... They try to do some things where they stick little enemies that if the tip of your drill touches them, they die. Otherwise, if they touch your sides or your back, you take damage, but it doesn't work very well, and the hit detection's wonky on it. And some of these sandy patches can go on for a really long time. And the Coral Drill just doesn't stop moving. Ever. So you will be in constant motion, drilling into the wall, gaining no progress if you don't change direction before you hit the wall.
Okay, at least you can change direction on it.
Yeah, so this means you're playing a auto-running section in these things, and it's just a key to get to the other side. It's really just a time waster. I hate any time I see this transformation sections come up. None of them have been fun.
Well,
it is easily the worst transformation in the game. The other ability is your generic ground pound with the turtle, where you get the turtle slam and the turtle spin. So the turtle spin is your charge attack now. It's not something you can do reliably because it goes way too fast, and you're just going to get yourself killed, and you can't cancel it right away. So you have to wait about half a second before you can cancel the spin and turn back into Shantae. Yeah, so not really practical. It will often just get you hurt because you're not invulnerable while you do it. The slam is just ground pound. That's all it is.
Just a ground pound. Yay.
Yeah. There will be a couple spots in the game where you can ground pound to find a hidden item or breakable blocks below you that you can ground pound to break. Like every ground pound ever.
Mm-hmm.
And the spin, in its dungeon, it has a few fun applications where you can use it to jet into auto launchers that will send you to a puzzle where you can choose the direction you come out of some of them and have to pick a direction and memorize a map of these automatic launchers, but it doesn't do anything beyond that. And immediately after you leave the dungeon, it forgets about this and never makes you do it again.
Oh.
So that was just an ability. But it's the best of the lot so far, which is not saying much. The frog, which you get, and is the replacement for the crab and the mermaid. And it's awful. It's almost as bad as the Coral Drill. Now, you will notice a whole lot of watery areas in the game. You're like, I wonder when I'm going to get the crab transformation. Or when am I going to get the mermaid so I can get through these? You get the frog almost like it's the second to last one you get. And the frog, just like the Coral Drill, auto swims the whole time it's out and can only move in 4 directions.
Oh, that's just dumb.
Yeah. There are no attacking enemies because the frog has no way to hurt them in the water, but there are a whole lot of spikes, as you'll find out.
Oh, fabulous.
Joy.
And thankfully, spikes only send you back to the start of the screen. But, yeah, the frog's just really, really boring. Its only ability is you can hold square to slow the swimming down.
Right.
So not anywhere close to as fun as the mermaid or the crab, and finding unique ways to use the crab's small size or the mermaid's, free movement in the water to get around. Nothing like that here. Just frog.
Just a frog. A badly controlled frog.
Yes. And last, we actually have a novel ability for the last one. It's a fairly good, if they're going this route, double jump transformation. Its animations are cute and fun, and that's the jet octopus.
It is very
Now,
happy.
the octopus can't get in the water.
What?
The octopus is for airborne mobility only.
I have something to inform you about octopodes.
Yeah, that's not how
And
they
that
work.
is that's not how they work. They don't fly, they swim.
No. You see, they shoot ink out, and this acts as jet propulsion in the air to give you a double and triple jump. That's
Right.
literally all the octopus does. There is no attack. It can't do anything except make you double and triple jump. But for a double and triple jump animation, it's really cute.
I guess.
So there's that. Don't think too hard about it, but yeah, that's a thing. I am very disappointed that this is what they replaced the animal transformations with. Even Risky's power-ups in Pirate's Curse were way cooler than these things.
What happened? Is this the same development team?
I have no idea. I'll have to look it up later. I've just been chain playing the game to get as far as I can. I had to manually take those pictures because there's no pictures of anything but the newt floating around the internet that are good and easy to get. So I had to take those pictures of the animals you're seeing right now of screenshots of my own game and then crop them out so that you had a decent picture of the animals.
Yeah, I loved Pirate's Curse because everything in that game just worked properly.
So in Pirate's Curse, you got like Risky's hat. You would find her equipment. It got stolen from her by the Pirate King's minions. And you had to go to various islands and get it all back for her. And you would, and she would just say, nah, you're making use of it. You can keep it. And this would be like, you would have her hat and could use it as a parachute to slow fall. Or you would find her cannon, and her cannon would shoot a cannonball down that would act as your double jump. And that cannonball going down could be used to activate switches and do puzzles with that.
Yep.
And it was really cool. The charging move in that game was Risky's saber, or no, Risky's boots.
Risky's
That's
boots,
right.
yeah, she gave you that charge.
Risky Boots' boots.
Yes.
And yeah, you could charge it up like what you call it? The Shine Spark from Super Metroid. I'm brain farting on what it's actually called.
We'll go with that.
Speed Booster, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, it was Speed Booster or something like that.
But they did a whole lot of fun things with the slopes and the way it worked. And you had to time jumps correctly to keep the dash going so that you didn't hit a wall and lose momentum so that it stopped. And eventually you would hit a wall at the end of a long, ridiculous chain of things that you had to break through.
Mm-hmm.
Like, all of that was fun and cool. And it was a unique and playful way to do it. These are just cute animals that act as basic generic abilities.
Yeah.
And two of them are just keys, the frog and the drill. The tortoise is the only one that can actively be used in gameplay with the newt, I guess, as an evade, although the game's so easy you never need to.
Yep.
And the octopus is cute, but it's just a double and triple jump.
Yeah, which is bog standard.
Yeah. I am glad that they put it near the end of the game. Unfortunately, they just don't do much with the other animals, because those are the only movement abilities you get.
Do they upgrade at any point?
Nope. You can... I'll get to how you can modify them later. Some of them. You can modify for the everything but the octopus slightly with another mechanic I'll talk about later. So you might be wondering, well, you said you just push a button. What do you do with the dances now? Well, the dances are just super moves.
All right.
So the dances have been 100% replaced with these super moves that fill the whole screen and do a thing. So the first one is the Seer Fusion dance. And you rescue the Seer Genie. This thing literally just lets you see invisible crap on the map. Which means You get to a new screen and you push that button.
Yay. I've seen other games do a similar mechanic, but usually it's like your character's just wearing goggles and the thing will become visible when you get close.
Yeah, this
Something
is
like that.
I've seen this mechanic used in this genre before. I never thought it was a good idea
No,
because
it rarely is.
what you realistically wind up doing is there might be a secret in here that's only revealed with this thing. I guess every single time I have moved a whole screen away from the screen I'm on right now, I will just have to hold down the dance button and do this button and press this sear button again.
The only time I've actually seen that sort of mechanic used properly is Metroid Prime. Because you're basically scanning things the entire game anyway.
Yeah, but you also could keep it on.
Yes. You can just turn it on and walk around with it, if you didn't mind blue.
Yeah, there was no stop, dance, scan, resume gameplay.
Yeah. It was press button, look around. Is there a scannable thing? Scan the thing.
This means taking an hour after you've beaten the game when you unlock the last dungeon to run to every single screen on the map because you missed something somewhere and mashing this button. Or you could be like me, and for once in my life in this type of games, I just said screw it and went and got a map.
How long does the dance take anyway?
About 4 seconds.
That's too long.
Yeah. So next, it can reveal hidden platforms and stuff for platforming to get to secrets and stuff, but that's part of the problem. There's very little indication of where these platforms should be. There's some if you're used to level design in these type of games, but you would have to know what the levels look like. Like, you would have to know that's a conspicuous corridor. I bet there's a secret in here somewhere. Oh, look, this conspicuously empty alcove that just happens to be above a long hallway for no reason and ends in nothing but a heart container. I bet if I use the seer here, a treasure chest will appear that'll have a gold nugget in it. I mean, that's the kind of stuff you don't know unless you play this genre all the diddly dang time.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think that's very good, and it's just a time waster at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So I decided I wasn't going to take an hour and a half and run all over the map spamming this thing on every screen at the end of the game, and just went and got a map from Steam with everything marked on it, because those are already out.
Yeah, it wouldn't have taken that long.
Next up is the Refresh Fusion. This thing, as soon as you get this, you win the game.
No snack.
Just whenever you want, just heal yourself 2 hearts. For literally, just dancing does not stop time anymore, but the casting of the fusion spell does. So as soon as you start to get low on health, all you got to do is press the dance button and after about a half a second to a second, the icons will pop up that'll let you use one of the spells, and then mash the refresh button. You get 2 hearts. And by the time time starts moving again, you can mash it again and again and again and again to fill yourself back up to full health. And then you've maybe used up a quarter of your magic meter and can do it 3 more times. Yeah. Totally.
So, this is basically the invincibility mode.
Yeah.
Yeah. As soon as you get this ability, you should not die from legitimate means ever again. It does have some uses in that it can damage undead enemies in addition to being an overpowered heal.
Right.
But what does it matter, because you've got infinite health to kill those enemies with anyway?
Yeah. So you can get unique interactions with some of the enemies for Chivos, and by reviving them with this, and it can revive dead plants that will sometimes spew out hidden items, and you'll see these clearly on the map as you walk by them, which are just an indicator to use the button here. Yay.
Yeah.
So the next one is Spark Dance, which is probably the closest one we got to a not safe for work one. But yeah, I'm not even sure what the heck you're supposed to be.
I think it's supposed to be an electric eel.
Yeah, I would guess eel.
Yeah, so this does lightning damage to everything on the screen, regardless of if it's touching the ground or not. And it will electrify stuff that can be powered up with electricity to open new paths, and it can temporarily charge some objects to make them active, like platforms to move up and down for a couple rotations before they run out of power, so it acts as a time limit on a time limit.
Another press button when prompted thing.
Yeah, and it's very obvious when you're supposed to use it because there will be a little power generator in the corner or things that have conspicuous electric-y balls on top of them that are not lit up. Yeah, so that's that one. The last one is also almost the exact same thing. It's the Quake Fusion. This does a lot of damage, but the enemy has to be standing on the ground for it to do damage or touching a surface. So they have to be actually connected to that surface. They can't be a bat flying against the wall. They have to be something that's attached to the wall if it's going to hit something on a wall.
That seems awfully specific.
Yeah. But its real purpose is to break things the turtle can't and rise up hidden statues from the ground.
Right.
Which are only used for a bonus Chivo. Right. Which I got because, of course, I did. So that's that one. And that's it. That's all the power-ups you get.
As far as Shantae games go, this one sounds really disappointing.
Yeah. I am, as a fan of the series, I am being this harsh on them because I want them to do better than this.
Yeah.
I expect better than this.
Yeah, and they've given that expectation by having quality stuff in the past. Like I've said before, Pirate's Curse is one of my favorites. It's just great from start to finish.
And they tried to emulate Pirate's Curse by doing this, and just didn't do a good job at all.
Yeah.
Because Pirate's Curse didn't have animal transformations either.
No.
But Pirate's Curse also used the abilities it had in fun and creative ways to solve puzzles. And a lot of this goes back to they made this game dumb easy for some reason. Even easier than a Shantae game is supposed to be.
Yeah, Shantae games aren't super difficult.
They're not hard at all.
No.
Like, they are pretty easy, especially near the end game if you're going for 100%.
Yeah.
But for some godforsaken reason, they made this game just the easiest Shantae game in the batch.
Does it at least still have the clever writing?
Yes.
Oh, good. At least it's something.
Everything is a joke.
Designer that resigned from the team.
Yeah, the writing is a little more on the nose, but it's always been on the nose with Shantae, so it's hard to tell if it's any more than the other games that I'm just forgetting.
That's always kind of been the point.
So, the jokes are fine. They're funny. They're very blatant and blunt, as is Shantae's style.
Yeah.
You find the Ammo Baron's brother, and he tells you he's totally a nice guy, unlike his brother, and actually does an okay job of playing it like he could be, but you don't believe him because he's the Ammo Baron's brother. So you bring him 3 pieces of metal ore, which he says, as a gesture of good faith, he'll make you metal armor. And he does, but the armor immediately fuses and locks as soon as Shantae and Sky put it on, and they can't move. And so the Armor Baron then puts you inside action figure packaging with mint condition seals on it and sells you to the Squid Baron, who's a crazy otaku now in this game, who's trying to be a game developer.
Now that sounds like Shantae.
Yeah, so you have to find a way to escape from the Squid Baron, who is keeping you as a collectible action figure inside his neat shelter that he's retreated to after Shantae's beat his butt so many times.
I see. Why are you so bully?
Because he's Squid Baron, and he deserves it.
Yeah. To be fair, even in the last couple of Shantae games, Shantae turns up, and these are the same guys she's been fighting the entire time. So a lot of them are just guys like, oh, not you again.
Yeah, anytime there's a recurring villain, they're like, oh, remember this time that I kicked your butt? I'll do it again. So
it reminds me of that comic about how Kirby's solution to every problem is to beat up King Dedede.
It's not wrong. That's usually his first course of action. Is something's going wrong. Let's go beat up Dedede. Even if he's got nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
You'll feel sorry for Dedede sometimes.
So,
So the Shantae part of the game is fine, at least as far as the aesthetic goes. All the character designs are really adorable and really cute. As you can see from the pictures, all the animals except for the stupid frog and the coral drill look really cute and Shantae-y.
The coral drill looks basically like a drill with a red squishy bit underneath.
Yeah, you can't even tell what that is, and the frog just looks dumb.
Yeah, the frog just looks dumb.
But everything else looks very Shantae, and it's all done in that Shantae art style, where it's very anime-esque, but clearly drawn by a Westerner.
Yeah.
So, and it's all really cute, and all the characters are really adorable, and all the girls have really large chests, because of course they do.
Disturbingly round and jiggly.
Yeah, jiggle physics are your idle animation.
Yeah, that sounds about right. They always have
That's
to be,
always
though.
been the case for Shantae, hasn't it?
Yeah, that's just Shantae. That's part of Shantae. If it wasn't there, people would riot.
Which is why when people hear her arch nemesis's name for the longest initially, they will always immediately think her name is actually Risky Boobs.
Yeah. Well, it's not untrue, I suppose.
It's not untrue, considering what she wears most of the time. She is definitely taking some risks with her boobs.
That top should not stay up. But the aesthetic of Shantae is there.
Yeah.
It's just the mechanics that are not. And this does not feel... It feels like a Shantae game, but it feels like a bad Shantae game when you're playing it. Which is still
the
good.
strange part is that the strange thing to me though is that this just seems like reverse, like reverse progress. It's retrograde. It's not. Why would they regress in their design? Like it seems like everything has been, all of the techniques have been rendered into sort of like press one button, do one thing to accomplish one objective type things.
I would like to dig up what happened, because this doesn't feel like it was made by the same people. If it was, the only thing I can think of was somebody said, hey, we're getting a lot of feedback that people say Pirate's Curse is the best one, so let's try and do what we did with that one again, but use the animals because people really like the animals.
Yeah. Thing is, Pirate Curse is more of a classic Metroidvania. The other games were closer to the old Monster Boy games.
Yeah.
They use very similar mechanics.
So they did fairly well with Half Genie Hero. Half Genie Hero was still too easy, but that was its only problem. But all Shantae games are easy, so it wasn't that hard of a dock against it, and it was 8 times as hard as this game is.
Ew.
Like, you should not die in this game. But I just do not know what caused this kind of fallback. I'm generally quite upset with it so far. I mean, it is still a good game because the Shantae games are good in general, and this formula for the most part has worked. It's just a lot of that formula has been trimmed out, so now there's less of it, and it's been replaced with generic crap.
Yeah. All right.
So that's mechanically. The mechanic I was telling you about before, because I mentioned it earlier, and so I don't want to forget about it, is there is now a bestiary.
Okay.
And this bestiary comes in the form of trading cards in-universe. And in-universe, this means you have to kill a monster over and over again until it drops a stupid card.
Yeah.
Whenever you encounter a new one. Now, that ain't too bad. That's not the bad part. You will naturally get 90% of these as you're going through the game. These ability cards, you can also equip 3 of them at a time, and they have and these are your passive effects. And these can do some really stupid things, like letting your magic regenerate over the time. Or giving you bonus hair damage, or bonus homing rocket damage.
Hair damage.
Hair damage. It is Shantae, after all.
Yeah, gotta hair them till it hurts.
There you go.
So, so this is how you modify the little animals. You can make the frog swim faster, the turtle spin charge up faster, or the ground slam do more damage, or you can drill through the dirt faster, which if you're in any area that uses the core drill, for the love of Gucci, equip that stupid badge or you're going to be there forever. And you can make the Newt dash longer, or make the Newt dash invincibility last longer so you dash slower, or you can do more damage with the dash, and stuff like that. Or you can upgrade your spells like your homing rockets and your scimitars. Yes, homing rockets are a spell, shut up.
Right. Okay.
That,
Logic.
that's perfectly in line with Shantae, so I'm not going to dock it for that one. But yeah, that's the kind of thing that you're looking at with these cards, and there's 50 of them, and they track them fairly well. Now I've spent most of this show, and it took until about just before this segment of me running around the stupid map looking for the last one, because nobody had found it yet. And I found it in the last dungeon, past the point of no return.
Oh, that's a
as
great place to
forewarning-
put a secret.
Yeah, well, it's not a secret; it's just collectible.
Well, yeah. Either way.
Just it's a common enemy in the last dungeon. So there's that. Now I've said a lot of things that probably turn some people off of the game if they're actually paying attention. But if you do pick it up, I want to tell you a warning, and then not to worry about this warning because it's not going to be as scary. At the end of the second to last chapter, an area of the map is going to just be gone forever.
Oh.
That you can't backtrack to, and you can't get any collectibles out of anymore. But as long as you got the heart squids from it, every other collectible can be gotten by going to every single entrance to that area and talking to a random scientist, and they'll just give you the collectibles you missed.
Oh, that's nice of them.
So you can't get locked out of 100% unless you miss the heart squid. So,
All right.
so
That's not too bad.
yeah. So yeah, I didn't want to bash a Shantae game. I really didn't. But I am critical of them this much because I expect better from them. I know the Shantae series can do better. And that's why I'm being so rough on this game in particular. So, way forward, learn from this and do it better next time. Because holy crap. That said, the animated cutscenes are nice. There's a whole lot of them intermittently dispersed throughout the game, and they're relatively short, but them being there is nice.
Yeah. All right.
So keep that part, and just go back to the Half Genie Hero formula or something, because this was not the right direction to take this.
Yeah. All right. What next?
We are. What are we at? We're already in an hour 15, so I'll stuff the other stuff I had as filler, and we can move on to the email, I think.
Yep. Who's got it up? Unfortunately, I've accidentally closed my browser because that was clever.
I don't. But I can attempt to pull it up. Let's see what it's about. Okay, looks like anybody can take this one. Okay, I'll butcher it.
Go for it.
Okay. It says, Dear No Excuses, so it has come to this. After 2 months of not working, I'm back to being a biorobot at the factory. No more 24/7 video games for me. In these 2 months, I stopped playing WoW until Thought Shadowbringers. Thought Shadowbringers?
Thought Shadow.
He spelled it THOT.
No, that sounds about right.
And instead of going back to FF14 to catboy things up, I decided to check on Eve. Apparently, they changed a lot. Tons of UX, UI, QOL improvements have been made. The game still requires someone else to help you with the robes, lest you hang yourself with them, but it is now slightly more new player friendly. Other games should learn from CCP. No, nobody should learn from the CCP. I'm looking at you, Warframe. I know what he means.
Yeah.
But I'm still going to say you should never learn from the CCP. I did check out a bunch of other games. If you like Creeper Wars, then Proto-Life is also an interesting take on the tower defense genre. Instead of a liquid, the enemy here is some kind of fungi that expands rapidly during the night, forcing you to hold it back until sunrise. Then you try to push it back and destroy it during the day. The unique twist is that instead of placing towers, you put down blocks, and the shape determines what kind of tower it assembles itself into. A 3-block V shape is the basic shooter tower, but more advanced shapes are unlocked as you go through the game. It's also pretty cheap. I almost read that as it's also pretty crap. He did not say that. Those who want more tower defense games should check that out. Let's see. But the real deal of this email is the 2.0 patch for Epic Battles of Fantasy V. A whole lot of new stuff has been added. 3 new challenge areas, a bunch of new semi-hidden fights, new items, enemies balancing instead of New Game Plus. There is now custom game mode that switches things up, like different enemies and weather, throwing a curveball at your usual strategies, or giving items completely new sets of stats, forcing you to be creative. All in all, if you didn't have EBF 5 until now, you have no excuse. Shadow drop, title drop,
Title drop.
not to buy. And that is from our good buddy Serathus. All right, thank you for the email, Serathus.
One of these days, I have a sneaky suspicion someone is going to drag me into Eve. I've already got people trying to drag me back to Shadowbringers. The thing is, though, if I had a good group of people...
Wait,
like
Shadowbringers
this-
is Final Fantasy 14. I've been trying to drag you back to that for
not
ages.
Shadowbringers,
Yeah.
sorry. The other one. The WoW one.
No, bad for you. But yes,
Shadowlands, whatever.
we've had Voltron to drag us into Final Fantasy 14 for what, year and a half now?
Yeah,
2 years?
time is not our friend. I try every now and again. I want to play as my giant ridiculous cat man. And be ridiculous. Especially when I actually...
Sigh.
Yes, giant cat men should never be healers. Ever.
So
No,
yeah,
we need as many healers in the. We need as many healers as possible in the player pool.
Even the silly ones. Possibly especially the silly ones, I guess.
I'm a tank, I'm a tank, I'm a tank, I'm a tank.
I'm a tank, I'm a tank, I'm a tank.
That would be fine if you would act that way when playing a tank class, as opposed to picking the most fragile thing available and then convincing yourself that you're a tank.
This'll totally
What
work.
game was that again? I forget. Where I
I
did
don't
that.
I have a funny feeling there have been several of those.
Yeah, probably.
So yeah, I have not felt the pull of MMOs for a while now. I feel like I would like to get back into one, but none of them really grab me in a way where I must play this. The closest was Terra, and we could never get anybody to play with us, so I got demotivated to play it. And
That's
then,
because everyone is in jail.
well, no, it's because they all went on a different server, even though we told them about the game for goodness knows how many months or years before they did, and then the game went easy mode and it wasn't playable anymore.
Well, yeah, there's that too. I do keep my feet in on Black Desert Online, but there's a lot of that game where you can just set it to do something and walk away.
Yeah,
Just,
I feel like that's sort of Maple's story in that respect. That the objective is to find a way to play as little as possible and make the largest profit in that time.
Yeah, you can just set up processes to run, park your character somewhere, give them a fishing rod, and let them just generate some money. So, they actually, I think they've just announced a new expansion too, so yeah, there's that as well. But, yeah, most MMOs require the massive time investment. Eve is also one of those ones, from what I understand, that you can just let it go and not play it. I know you can actually progress your character skills by logging out of the game. So yeah, MMOs, where is time? What is time?
Yeah. Did I just have the mic unmuted while I was moving the microphone?
Yes,
Yes,
you
I
did.
believe so.
Oh goodness. Oh, my bad, dudes.
Professionalism.
I thought I hit the button, but I guess I wasn't tapped in Discord, so it didn't mute.
Fun. Yeah. What else? I did try Creeper World a while ago. I'm not very good at that game, though. Using turrets to
that
push back a liquid seam is very counterintuitive, honestly.
Yeah, like why would you choose that strategy?
Well, apparently you can solve this problem of basically a ever spawning, all devouring, encroachable liquid by shooting it a bunch of times. But the moment you stop shooting it, it's just back again. It just sloshes back into place. So you have to continue to shoot it. It is actually quite challenging once you get into the later levels. I'm trying to figure out how to use bullets to hold back a tide of water. Purple, gooey water. So yeah, I might try that other one at some point. But we got summer sales coming up soon, so that's probably going to be the time for that sort of thing.
Why summer sale?
Yeah, it's unlike this last ridiculous event, the spring cleaning event, where it told me to play Goddess.
Yeah.
You don't say you don't like Goddess,
I think I've said that plenty of times in the past.
but
I think during one show you should replay Goddess just for the sake of getting Steam to shut up about it and stream it.
Or, here's probably a better idea. I could drink bleach.
You
One
really
of
don't
which
like
is
that
far
video
more
game, do you?
enjoyable. I really do not.
Come on, Goddess can't be all that bad, can it?
Yes, it is really, really bad.
Is it as bad as Daikatana?
Honestly, Daikatana is worth it just for the memes.
Because you've got that too.
I do have that. That's all your fault. Would rather play Daikatana again. A game that didn't work properly last time I tried to play it.
I don't think it works properly for anybody.
No, it doesn't. The AI wigs out and the companions will just go and suck wallpaper somewhere while you're trying to finish the level. That's if you're
Don't
lucky.
suck on wallpaper. Don't
Do not
suck on wallpaper, kids.
Do not. I don't know. If I am going to do Goddess again at some point, I will probably turn the stream on just to share the pain.
I don't know if you'll be sharing it because seeing you in that much pain will make me laugh.
That's actually fair.
Is this what Vol gets whenever he watches me play a game?
Yes.
More or less.
So, I'm not even sure if it actually works anymore, to be honest. If the servers still exist. Because it is entirely online. It's always on, requires a connection.
But
That's
it's
okay, Fern.
different game now, isn't it? Like it's
Goddess Wars,
Probably-
yeah. Where they tried to add this PvP nonsense to it.
I guarantee you somebody's got a private server set up somewhere. You can do it, Fern.
I can guarantee you somebody doesn't, or at least they've got it just for the memes.
Build your tiny houses, Fern.
Build the tiny houses. Cookie Clicker was more engaging.
Actually, one of the updates to Cookie Clicker make it a pretty ridiculous statistics game, from what I understand.
Yeah, it does. It gets very silly. But yeah, there's actually a huge market for that sort of game where it's you just increase the number. So I suppose if you know a little bit of code and you just want to stick a game up on Android, make one of those. People will pay money just to increase the number. These people have no sense of value of money. Ugh.
More
Anyway.
dollars than cents.
Yeah. Anyway, enough whining myself inside out. What do we got? Else we got? Anything? Well, we don't have any news.
We
Well,
have some things.
I couldn't really find anything that seemed really worth talking about, to be honest. I mean, I guess there's Last of Us. Apparently, they broke the street date, so the entire game has been leaked.
Just to ensure nobody buys it.
I
Love
was
it.
like, just gotta continue that humiliation parade for as long as possible.
Oh, jeez, could they make any bigger of a mess of that?
They might take that as a challenge.
Ugh. Companies have in the past. I mean, their big story thing, big story turn has been leaked, and it turned out it was awful.
What was their big thing? I haven't seen the leak.
Screw it. Spoilers! Ellie gets killed and replaced by Magilla Gorilla.
Oh, didn't we already know that happened?
Yeah, that was the spoiler. That was the leak.
Oh. Maybe
So-
maybe I just took it in passing so much because nothing could surprise me about what they would do to make that game worse.
It probably did.
So
Okay.
yeah, it's not supposed to go live until like the middle of next year, ain't it? Or the next month, ain't it?
Something like that.
Yeah. I did see a story about Sony DMCAing their own tweet promoting the game by accident.
Yeah, that's what happens when you outsource your DMCA control. But this is a sort of a Sony thing to do that kind of thing. Like, apparently, it's not once, but several times historically, Sony has sued somebody, and having done so, it has gotten all the way to court. And in fact, the case has carried on for some time, and then when on closer inspection, it has been realised that Sony actually owns both companies that are involved in the lawsuit.
How could you screw up that bad?
It's the Sony is just sort of a famous case of the left hand not knowing what the right's doing.
Yeah.
Hey, I just got 2 of those blueprints that never dropped a drop. And I just need 13 more.
Yay!
It's the start.
It is a start. It is definitely a start.
What is
Because
So-
I'm tempted to play Azure Lane and Fantasy Star Online at the same time.
This sounds like a recipe for disaster.
So, yeah, I guess we have 2 more newslets that we can look at. We'll save the one that might actually have substance last, and we'll do the funny one, I guess.
All right.
League of Legends at the esport level has now having companies pay to have art assets designed and stuck in Summoner's Rift.
From what I understand, this is for the upcoming tournament. The players themselves won't be able to actually see the ads, but the audience certainly will.
There is MasterCard flags in the middle of Summoner's Rift.
Yeah.
What?
I wish.
I mean, it's not
developers-
surprising. That what is not. It's a surprised what. It's a. You guys have finally done it. You've hit the point we all knew you were going to get.
Yeah. There's been lots of attempts over the years to put real-world advertising in games, and it almost never works. The only time it actually works is in car racing games, where you expect to see those sorts of billboards.
What about sports games? Like, because there's always like the big logo on the football pitch or whatever.
Yeah, and sports games.
Yeah, sports games have always been the super duper exception to it, where they will literally patch the game to update the ads.
It's because they get actual sponsors paying to put those ads in the game as well.
Yeah. So, I just want to highlight. Yeah, I want to highlight a quote real quick before I forget about it too.
Okay.
So, the answer of why they're doing this is because we want money. The answer they said though was not because we want more money. It was to create an environment that exudes the energy found in traditional sports, and we'll continue to work towards that goal.
Yeah, so anyone who's actually watched traditional sports, every sentence now contains some sort of product placement or sponsor shout out. They can't talk about the sports board, it's got to be the KFC sports ball. For your flaggy potato.
The cell games presented by HeatTap.
Yes.
I think maybe at some point they should have asked whether people actually wanted League of Legends to exude the same sort of energy as professional sports, because I'm not sure that they actually asked anybody about that.
Yeah, nobody wants that. Nobody wants to have the sponsors crammed down your neck all the time. We actually had a weird discussion about sports ball before the show. I'm actually surprised, by the way. Australian rugby is being broadcast to the world at the moment, but there is an opportunity for classic 4chan griefing for something they're doing at the moment. You can throw $20 in, and you can get your picture put onto a cardboard cutout and stuck in the crowd, because you're not allowed to have an actual audience there at the moment.
All right, yeah.
So I was watching a little bit last night. There's a bunch of people who've done the right thing. They've just got the picture of themselves wearing a sports ball jersey and carrying on and all that sort of thing. But then next to that, a normal-looking person, there might be things like a giant baby, or somebody wearing a hazmat suit, or a dog.
Please, 4chan. Organize like 20 billion people and have them all get Trump as their avatar.
It won't get to that point. I believe there is actually a human element in this, which takes away a good chunk of the 4chan griefing.
Of course, somebody's got to wheel the cutout onto the...
Yeah, but being Australians, we can't take anything even remotely seriously.
How do they know there are not 20,000 people that look exactly like Donald Trump?
They probably
Why
are.
not Adolf Hitler?
I would actually be surprised if someone got a Hitler through.
Because you are talking about 4chan here.
Yeah. There was a Stig. So that's something. But just the amount of people who've put in a picture where they've got just someone wearing a hazmat suit or a full ski mask or something like that, and it's been put up in the stadium. It's great.
If you wear your mask at home, I am making fun of you daily, actively, and you don't even know it, just by the way.
If you're wearing a full ski mask, I'm assuming you're a serial killer. Just saying. Anyway, what else we got?
Paul, you found the next story, so why don't you lead this one?
Did I? I'm currently under attack from Visbolts, so and I
not
don't know
bad.
what the auto run button is in this game.
I'm not sure there is one.
Well, somebody's gonna have to tell me what the topic is because I've got to
It's
run
the,
away for another 19 seconds.
It's the Steam China version thing.
China.
Oh, right, yes. So this is a thing that has recently been sort of revealed. Oh, I don't know if that's really the right way to
Congealed?
express what happened, but it's basically it has been found that there is a special version of Steam that has been developed and is currently in sort of beta testing, and it is fundamentally it's a version of Steam designed to incorporate all of the CCP's controls over gaming that they want. So, for instance, in this new version of Steam for China,
China.
for China,
China.
there's nobody has a profile picture for starters. They're all replaced by a question mark, and nobody has a username either. They're all replaced by a string of numbers, because while you can have those things, they all have to be manually reviewed to make sure that they are CCP approved before they
Jeez.
can be put into the system.
Fern, can you just put up a picture of Winnie the Pooh for this segment?
That'll take effort.
I'll find you one.
Oh dear.
The another thing is that games that have been sort of like formally released and approved by the CCP for play in China and that sort of thing on Steam, they will only be able to be launched during certain times of day.
Certain
Because
times
we
of
can't have-
day.
Because we can't have people playing too much video at night. They need to be resting so that they can work for the party when they get up in the morning.
Jeez.
No thought given to anybody who might work shifts. What else is there? There's like special warning messages that come up when you try and launch things, telling you not to play too many games and how you've got to take breaks and all this stuff that have all been inserted in there as well.
Wait, this is the full disclaimer because this is actually hilarious. The first line is Health Gaming Advisory: boycott harmful games,
Well, that's unambiguous, isn't it?
reject game piracy, exercise self-protection, avoid deception. Moderation promotes brain health. Excess play is harmful to the body. Well-planned use of your time will lead to a healthy lifestyle.
Yes, Mom.
Okay, Pooh. Whatever you say, Pooh Bear.
A lot of games do already just put a warning in there saying, you've been playing for 2 hours. You know your legs still work, right?
Yeah,
And
but they
that's
don't
usually
tell
the
you
end of it.
boycott harmful games as the first thing in the list.
Yeah.
Now we all know what they mean by harmful, right?
Yeah, Murican.
Disagreed by the glorious party.
Command
Anything,
and Conquer Generals.
yeah, anything Winnie the Pooh says is not kosher.
Jeez.
Chinese kosher.
Presumably that's different from Jewish kosher.
There's a really
Almost
good joke I
definitely.
want to tell here, but I gotta save it for later.
Oh,
I can't say it on the show.
Oh, no.
It involves Ben Shapiro.
Because of course it does.
We're
Alright.
going to be fired.
Totally. Again.
I'm surprised we're not fired. Ah,
Alright. In that case, now that we're on the verge of getting fired again, we should probably start looking at wrapping up.
yeah.
All right, Fern's got to work.
Again.
The work, it never stops. It never
Oh
leaves us.
right. It's already been 2 hours, ain't it?
Aye.
So, all right. I guess email topic of the week, as always, China. Give me a reason to complain about China, please.
I need more.
Do
I
you
can
really?
never have enough.
Any on your own?
Oh, I could go to the Donald and do it, but I want it to be organic. I want our people to also tell me how much they hate China, and it'll bring us all together as we all call China Winnie the Pooh and get banned. Oh, the Chinese president Winnie the Pooh, anyway.
Oh dear, oh dear.
So, this has been a exciting week, folks. As a closing comment here, lots of stuff. If you live in the U.S., is going on. Don't chimp out.
Yeah,
Are
definitely.
Please.
you allowed
ship
to
out.
say that?
Keep your head screwed on straight, and do not destroy the street where I've got a job next week, so I may not get a sale.
We've actually got protesters who pop up in both Melbourne and Brisbane, usually Melbourne. And let's face it, they never stop being good to make fun of. They're out there screaming that vaccines cause Wu flu, or 5G causing Wu flu. I mean, there is not a single brain cell between these people at all. It's great.
After how much the government screwed up Wu flu, if they tell me I need to get a vaccine, I ain't getting a vaccine. Period.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that, you know, given that the time it takes to produce a vaccine to a coronavirus is about 4 years, if one comes out in 14 months, I'm going to be disinclined to immediately take it.
Well, we've got one at the moment, which is claiming to be 99% certain. Guess where it's
I'm
from?
sure. China.
China.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm sure
not
the
trusting that.
CCP totally hasn't been in cahoots with Bill Gates to have a microchip in that vaccine.
It probably contains like rhino horn and tiger penis or something.
Traditional medicines.
I'm allowed to say that because I'm half Chinese.
It's not racist if you are. Oh, no.
Vol will be a very useful tool for when we really have to chimp out at the Chinese. Because he will give me an excuse to say, I have a half Chinese friend, it's okay.
All right.
I've heard that saying things like that makes you more racist.
Well,
It
then
kind
get
of
over it.
does. It makes it look like an asshole, at least. There is a dog crying outside my door, so that's probably the time, the science time to end.
So, okay, folks. Y'all got anything for us send us out?
Hopefully next
not
week I'll
really.
be able to put PSO2 on the screen. Assuming it works.
Yep. All right, then. I guess we'll see you next week. Sayonara. Bye-bye.